Alright guys, this is going to be a pretty quick video, but well, should be anyway. We'll see. What I've got is a Nissan Maxima that has been worked on. A bunch of stuff has been changed and they're having problems with it still, so they brought it in and we took a look. And I'm not going to go through the silly stuff here because it's relatively simple. What they had was a cam sensor code, P0340, that they can't get rid of. First thing I wanted to do was get a cam crank a cam crank waveform on this vehicle, just to see where we're at, make sure I have a good signal on both sensors and everything is working. And when I went to the cam sensor, I found the connector's broken. These Nissans use a special connector, as you can see from the back of this. This is the actual sensor I took out. They replaced this already, but it was unplugged and you cannot plug it in. The retainer is broke and there's no way to repair it. You cannot buy a new one. They don't sell them. You'd have to go hunting through a junkyard, try to find one, try to get it, you know, from a junkyard if they'll sell it to you. Around here they usually don't want to do that because they want to sell the harness, or you know, they don't want to cut it, whatever. So it's very cold out. I'm not going to go hunting through a junkyard to find one. And I explained to the customer he's welcome to do so if he would like. What he asked me is there any way that I can fix this without doing all that, without going to get a new connector, finding a connector and all that stuff, just to get it working. I explained to him the only way I can do it is by bypassing the connector, which means that I would have to hardwire the cam sensor. Okay, this is not the way to do things. This is not the right way to do it. I'm doing this because the customer requested it. Just making that very clear. Okay, will it work? Yeah, it'll work. Is it going to be a problem in the future? No. You know, it's not going to be a problem unless the cam sensor fails. You're going to have to replace it, but other than that, no. The connections will be fine. They'll be solid, and that'll be that. But I do not like doing this. Okay, this is not the right way to do it. I'm just trying to be clear here. This is not, you know, a proper fix, so to speak. But you have to do what you have to do sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the reasons why right here that soldering skills are important. If you look inside here, you'll see the little pins. Okay, they're very, very small. My plan is to take some wire and solder each connection to each pin. Okay, and what I do want to make sure of is, what I want to focus on is I do not want to concentrate a lot of heat on these connections to cause any damage inside. Okay, so what we're going to do, we already connections out, and what I'm going to do, as I usually do, is I'm going to apply a little flux. Okay, the one good thing here is this is a new sensor, so there's no corrosion or anything like that on here that I have to fight with. But what I'm going to do is I'm applying flux, and you guys have seen me do this on other videos, my soldering video obviously. Okay, I'm just going to get a little flux on the wiring. I'm going to apply my flux on everything that I'm going to solder. And I do not have my solder station here, which is my preferred method of doing this. Something, you know, anything like this where it's tedious small stuff. I don't have it, so I have no choice right now except to use my my bigger Weller solder gun. And again, not the right way to do this, but it is what it is right now. I have no choice. Okay, this thing's broken, doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the best out of a bad situation, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take each of these wires, I'm going to throw them into my alligator clip here. Well, take two of them at least. And I'm going to heat my solder gun up, my tip, and I'm going to apply solder to the wiring. Okay, be careful you don't have the sensor under here so you drop solder in there and short this out, because that will cause other problems that you don't have now. Now this part is going to be hard to show you guys because I'm going to probably be, I'm kind of out of my, I'm not in a good position here, but I'm going to try anyway to do this on camera if I can, just to try to show you guys what I'm achieving here. I'm going to heat carefully and very little. I'm going to put heat on the connection. And I'm going to just touch the solder to each of these pins. You're not going to pick, I don't think the camera's going to pick this up very well, but I'm going to do my best. Okay, now, the trick now is on each of these pins, what I want to do is I want to put my gun as close as I can, and I want to heat the solder on the wire more and touch it. Okay, this is tedious, guys. I don't like doing this. This is not the way to fix this car at all, but if I could help the guy and do what he wants me to do and not drop you guys, sorry about that, I'm going to try to help this guy, okay? It's the best that I can say. You have to be very careful here. You have to make sure that the connection is good, okay? And what I want to do is I want to actually take this off here. I'm sorry, I got to take a look here and see in the light and make sure that I have a solid, strong connection, which I do. Okay, this would be a lot prettier, however, if I had my solder station, but you're never going to see it. This is going to be filled with silicone after I'm done, you know, that'll be that. But like I said, this is not the way to do this, all right? It's just something I wanted to show. It's more demonstrating the ability to solder small things and small items like this. It's an important skill to have, especially in today's automotive. All right, I'm going to put a little more flux on these two pins, just a little more here, and what I'm focusing on is heating the wire. As you can see, this is a very small gauge, and I'm trying to heat the solder on the wire more than the connection, more than the connector inside these pins. My hands are like shaking here, man. This is like really small and hard to see, but try. Whoa. Oh, shucks. Yeah, sorry guys. That's the price you pay for, damn. Did I break everything? Oof, that was not cool. That's the price you pay for having a cheap tripod. Did it break? Something? Guys going? Alright, it's the glare. I thought I broke my camera. Ugh, not cool. Alright. That was close. We almost had a casualty there. Again, very important to make sure your connection is strong and solid, because I do not want any variation or problem in this cam signal. I do not want any power or ground issues or anything like that. Very important to make sure, and this is really, really tough to do because this solder gun is way too big for this. I have to move this angle because I can't see. And I'm sorry about that, but best I can do. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to open this. Not that it matters anymore. This is all broke anyhow, because I'm not happy with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the plastic around here I'm gonna have to seal this up, obviously, guys. I'm not gonna leave it like this, but I need an opening. I need something to get in here. This solder gun tip is way too big, so I have no choice. Got to do what you got to do, and all right. Now, if I can keep this guy stable, which I think I can, like that, now I have a much better, I'm really trying not to do this, not to drop this thing again. Okay, now that I have a much more stable environment here to work, I'm going to redo this, because I knocked this one off. I heated it by accident, but now, as you can see, I have good access here to where I need to go. And again, I'm focusing the heat on the wiring, on the heat on the wire itself. I do not want to focus too much heat on the sensor. Do I think it'll work? Yeah, I think it'll work. I think it'll be fine. I've done work like this before. Again, too big of a solder gun, but I'm going to put a little more solder. I'm going to feed onto here, and as you can see, I hope you guys can see, it flows right on. I'm only on there for a second. I'm not holding any kind of I'm not putting any kind of real time into this, because into holding that, because I do not want to cause damage to the sensor. Then you focus your heat on the wiring, you melt the two pieces of solder together, and that's what you end up with. Well, you know what? I'm here, I'm this far in, I may as well actually redo that last one on the side, make it dead straight. Take that off, flip this guy around. We're going to do the best job that we can do, considering what we're working with here. This is not your average repair on a cam sensor, guys, you know, but it's good. And that's quite solid, much better. I'm happier with that. Shrink tube is going to go inside here now over my yeah, fits perfect. Okay, so we're going to put our shrink tube on to protect our wiring. Okay, this has the this is the one with the adhesive in it. Then the silicone will just be a secondary measure of protecting it from any kind of intrusion, water, moisture, you know, whatever the case may be. Like that. All right. Is it beautiful? No, not at all. Is it perfect? Nope. Is it going to work? Should. I will get a shot on the car of providing everything works here. I'll let you guys know, of course. I'm going to shut the camera off, and that'll be that. All right. So we'll see what happens. But that is a connection. We'll see how it goes. I'll get back to you in a few. Alright, so as you can see here, I got this connector fixed, well, bypassed on this Maxima. going back into my data, into my PCM, and I'm just going to verify here now that we have no codes. The engine does start much faster now. There's no extended crank, which indicates that my cam sensor is working, which is nice. We'll check for codes again now that it's been running. There are no codes. Okay, so I'll show you here this thing. We have no check engine light on. Shut it off. Start it up. And before it would right? So we do not have that extended crank anymore. And looks good. Alright, so just a quick update. I took the car on a road test after the repair you saw. That actually did fix the vehicle. There were no more codes, there were no more drivability symptoms. The car starts without an extended crank. Imagine that. Cam sensor actually has to function in order for the car to work right. Who would have thunk it? Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell. You guys know the drill, and I'll see you soon.